Welcome to episode 7 of the Movie Lighthouse, shining a light through the fog of film. My name's James.
I'm Laurie.
And I'm Wyndham.
Hello everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. Everyone enjoying the sunshine?
Yeah, it's nice. Makes everything much more palatable.
Oh, just loving the sunshine. It's wonderful.
I've had enough of it really. On day 2.
I used to be a big fan of the cold.
I like the wind.
And then over the last couple of years, I'm no longer a big fan of the cold because it's cold.
It's quite cold.
Yeah.
I like all of them really. Apart, wind can be the annoying one.
That's my favourite.
Why is that your favourite?
Well, it's a long story, but it's good. I like it.
You like it?
Yeah. Passionate, innit? Fiery. Well, windy. Right, should we get on with it then?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so Wyndham, you amazingly picked Laurie's golden ticket.
I did.
Oh my god.
The number 7.
Which is number 7.
Ah, what a number. That's a great number 7. And did you know that was my favourite number?
I knew it was your birthday.
Ah.
Is that why it's your favourite number?
So what day was you born? What year? Day. What day was it?
Wednesday?
Oh, no. The number.
Oh,
day.
sorry. 14th.
So 14, I presume. J'accuse.
Could be.
Your lucky
It could
golden
be.
ticket.
If only we'd picked that.
Well,
Oh, don't we?
No, I'm joking.
well, we get to this at the end anyway. Wyndham is going to choose again because otherwise it's going to be your choice again, and I don't think anybody can handle that. So Wyndham, you get to pick the ball
Marvellous.
later on. All right, so we haven't got any mail, fortunately.
Did we not?
No.
I thought last month was going to trigger a deluge.
Yeah, well, I think probably we read out the email address wrong. So
Did we?
They've probably all gone somewhere
Yeah.
else.
I imagine that must be.
They're just
That's
whizzing
probably-
around cyberspace.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, maybe we should be like, giving.
I haven't got time to read out people's emails anyway.
Well, that's true.
But if you do want to email in, that'd be great. So, anyone got any news?
I always do, and I always forget to bring my news to the table.
Well, I've got some.
Okay.
So, Lost in Space came back on Netflix.
It did.
Have you started watching it?
I have watched it all.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
I've watched 2 episodes.
Okay. What do you think? What first thoughts?
The first episode, I wasn't entirely convinced I hadn't missed the first episode and was actually on the second or third episode until the very end, and then it kind of clarified. It's all right. I'm going to maintain for another episode or 2 and see where it goes.
It's a shame because it could have been great.
Yeah.
And it's got all the elements to be great, but it's just a bit dull.
Is it?
It's just a bit drab, and it takes such a long time to get anywhere. And I don't like most of the characters.
No. So my big problem in the first 2 episodes was I really hate Will Robinson.
Yeah.
Really hate him.
Will Robinson.
Yeah.
There you go, Will Robinson.
He didn't pass the tests.
No.
He's woefully underprepared. And he really, when somebody says, wait here, don't move from here, what does he do? Just wanders off and finds some aliens. He wanders off and finds a glacier. He wanders. He is a risk to the whole mission.
He really
Is he the kid?
He's
Yeah.
the kid,
Yeah.
So in the original TV series, Danger, Will Robinson.
Yeah, great
That's the
robot,
kid.
Robbie the robot.
So there is
Which
a robot.
That robot in the original. Do you know what film we first saw that robot?
Forbidden Planet.
Forbidden Planet.
Yeah.
Which is a brilliant film.
They use the same robot.
Is that right?
Yeah. So they've redeveloped the robot for
Yeah.
this one. They've not used the same one, unfortunately.
Which kind of looks like just someone in a suit.
Kind of. Well, I think the robot works.
Okay.
And I do like Dr. Smith.
So I've only just kind of ended the second episode. She and
She.
Yes.
the family
Is she a liability?
collide,
Yes.
but I haven't seen much more of her.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the running thing of Dr. Smith. I mean, I don't know if you remember the 60s one. He was always
Of course.
getting into trouble. In fact, I watched a YouTube thing of him spending 10 minutes saying, like, ridiculous things to the robot, like, you meddling nincompoop. And I think they needed a bit more of that. But I think she's a person from the Breakfast Club, isn't she? She plays the quiet little weird one in the
Is that
Breakfast Club.
right?
Yeah.
The
The
golf
one with
one.
the daft druff. Daft
No.
druff.
Yeah.
Is it
Daft
really?
Well, I think so. I should have checked. But yeah, I'm going to say yes.
Okay. So yes.
So yeah, I don't know. I watched all of it because there was only 10 episodes, but the next series might get better because
Right.
spoiler, now they're lost.
I have a problem with this,
Yeah.
actually. the fact that, and I understand why they do it. So you put all this money and effort into writing a TV series,
Yes.
and you really want to establish a following and a fan base. So you write an end that doesn't conclude the story.
Yeah.
And that really pisses me off. It's like, just finish the story. Like, give me an... I'll have to go through my notes. There's something in one of my notes that is exactly to that. And it's like, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Finish... I know what it was. I watched The Dark.
Uh-huh.
You seen Dark? It's a German Netflix original series.
No.
Really good. Really worth watching. It was one of the many pieces of TV and film I had to read this month because it's best in German with subtitles.
Okay.
And it's basically about a 27-year cycle, 27 or 33-year cycle, and these kind of kids turn up dead, and every 33 years this weird thing happens, and it's a time-travelling thing, and you get to the final 10th episode of the first season, and you think, I don't know what the conclusion's going to be, but it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And then it just goes, guess what, there's going to be a follow-on season. You go, I wanted you to conclude
I
it.
tell you what, I've thought about this quite a few years ago. It's okay if they actually do another series or whatever. But you know, when Lost came out, I loved Lost.
Yeah, me
oh
too.
my God, where the hell is this going? You know, real crazy ideas left, right, and centre. Really intriguing. Blah blah blah. Wait a minute, they're completely making it up as they go along, and there is no ending. And I felt completely cheated. All that time I invested in it. And
Well, there was an ending.
Oh, yeah,
And the
actually-
ending was that none of it happened.
Yeah.
They all just died.
It was just, I felt furious. I think there's also Firefly or Babylon 5.
Now, Firefly,
Yeah.
which is like this everybody loves Firefly.
It's
They only
Joss
did
Whedon,
one-
isn't it?
Yeah, they only did one series, and it's the one that everyone talks about saying it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. They're making another series.
Ooh.
Yeah. So,
But this is it. But I was just thinking that for a viewer, there should be some sort of insurance or sort of some law process that we could go through to sue them, because we've basically put time in, and I want to know.
Yeah.
Like the Golden Compass, we had the first film with the Golden Compass, but then apparently the Vatican came along and went, no, not making that.
Yeah, no, it was because the American audiences didn't go for it in the way
Could
they
be that
hoped.
too, but I'm not to
wasn't
blame
it the
the
fact
Vatican.
that it just wasn't very good?
Look,
I thought it was dull.
Yeah.
look,
The
I
books
just
were
wanted
very
to
good.
see
Books
it.
were great.
Yeah. So, but
Just
things
because
like
you went to see something doesn't mean it was good.
things like Stranger Things,
Yeah.
first season of Stranger Things concluded that first season story
Yes. Yeah.
and gave you something
There's
to
a
go.
little
There's something
tidbit.
else.
Yes.
We're going
yes,
to build
yes,
the
yes.
next one off this, but I've wrapped up that story for you. Everybody can be happy with that.
Brilliant. Yeah. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Totally get what you
On
mean.
board with that.
Yeah,
it's
no.
when they don't wrap up the original story.
Absolutely.
I think The Walking Dead's come to an end. I think
Oh, has it? Is
the
it?
last episode, not an end. I think this season has come to an end.
Oh, right, okay.
The last episode's got some jip by the looks of things.
I think this whole season's got a lot of criticism, and like the viewers
think
are
you're right,
leaving
yeah.
in droves.
Yeah, it's definitely got to this kind of sort of comfortable, sort of self-awareness element about it. But you know, that's what I really like about The Walking Dead. There is definitely dips and ups and downs. I mean, the first series I just could not get into, this really annoying love triangle thing. But once I got past that, or once it got past that, it got really good, and it's done some great stuff. It's gone properly into the whole. Blimey, who's the maker of the Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead stuff? Recently died. Oh, I'm so Romero, yeah. So it does really go. You know, there's a bit where you go into this city, like a desolated city, run by these weird. They dress up like cops and stuff like that. But that part of it was really, really great. And then they've gone into the farm. They've gone into the prison.
I see. Yeah,
So-
I watched it up to I think season 4, the prison or something. What really bothers me
Yeah.
about The Walking Dead, and I know this is going to sound ridiculous because of the nature of what it is,
Yeah.
but why haven't they all just rotted away to nothing by now?
Well, you do have that because you have like various zombies with different states of decomposia.
Yeah, and then
So that implies they
then
died
I
at
think
different
how do they
times.
move around when none of their muscles are there? It blows my mind in the end.
James.
Well, that's the premise of all
You-
zombies, though, right?
Well, yeah, but when you've got a fresh zombie, you can kind of see how they're moving around. But when they, you know, really hardly there,
How are they still?
And how?
doing
Why
it?
are they in different states of decay anyway?
yeah, why haven't they all rotted away to nothing? It's been like 5 years.
Or none of them?
Well, no, because they could have, some of them could have died 2 weeks
Oh,
ago.
okay,
Some
yeah.
of them died.
Okay, I've got another bit of news which is quite good. It's quite crazy, really. So, do you all remember Smallville? Do you all saw
Yes.
Smallville?
Is that the
I
one
never-
where we waited 10 seasons to see him fly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Anyway, his best friend in the show, Chloe Sullivan, played by Alison Mack, has just been arrested because she's been heavily involved in this cult in America, which has basically been enslaving young girls
Oh my god.
and like fucking selling them to this guy. So she's like the front woman for this whole cult.
Was
Really?
she aware of that, or did
Oh
she?
yeah,
just think-
she's I mean, they've all these apparently all these girls have been branded, like just by their groin, and yeah, she's like the right hand man of this.
Was
guy.
she the blonde one?
Yeah. Now he got arrested about 2 or 3 weeks ago in Mexico, I think, and since then she's been running the
Oh my
organisation. I know.
Well, I'm glad they've been arrested.
It's like an episode of Smallville.
Did nobody tell them that the show had been cancelled and they just carried on as if...
I think she has gone absolutely crackers.
Blimey.
But so there you go. That's a bit of news. Okay. All right. Well, should we move on then?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
if
we've
not-
got Solo dropping in a minute, which I am excited about. I think it's going to be good fun. And there's a lot of people not very happy, obviously, with the guy that's playing Solo. But again, that's going to be really, really hard, right? But I think they're probably wanting more, some more feel, sort of nuance.
Do you know
obviously,
who's played it?
Harrison Ford. I can't remember his name. He looks
Yeah.
like an onion. He looks like a beautiful onion.
Well,
And if that isn't enough, I don't know what is.
Yeah,
No, we
I'm
don't.
excited.
I watched Veronica. Have you heard of
Oh
Veronica?
yeah,
The
I
Spanish
watched that.
one.
I watched that.
Or read it, because it's in Spanish.
Yeah.
And I thought it was quite interesting, because I'd seen a whole load of kind of reviews saying the scariest movie ever made,
Right. Yeah.
which it isn't,
No.
just to say.
Yeah.
But I quite liked it. And it actually kind of helped me clarify what I find scary in movies and at what point most movies, kind of horror movies, lose me. And it's that kind of the unspecified fear.
Yeah.
But as soon as it kind of manifests into something, I tend to look at it and go, that's just stupid. And that stops scaring me at that point. But all the kind of psychological, unknown, tense stuff, I dig. I like it.
okay.
Yeah, it is good. It's got a really good, decent,
Great cast, really well acted.
great cast, good soundtracks.
Yeah.
They set it in 90s Spain,
Yeah,
so you've got like a lot of sort of indie, sort of Spanish indie stuff going on in the soundtrack, which is great. But obviously, popular tunes of 90s as well. But the film itself, it's really, really well done. Obviously big movie fans, and the entity itself. I like the mattress. Where
Yeah,
you
yeah,
find
that's
out where
quite
it's
good.
been sleeping.
yeah,
It's really
yeah, that's
good.
great. And it's got a blind nun called Sister Death in it.
Yeah.
What more do you
Um,
want?
But
Indeed.
apparently it's based on a true story, but it's not. And if it is based on a true story, it's based on someone who's lying, which essentially was Amityville Horror.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I thought that actually was a true story. Amityville Horror
Yes, I know.
scared the living bejesus out of me.
Oh.
But I would be interested though, bearing in mind this was billed as the scariest movie of all time.
Yeah.
I'd be keen to understand from our listeners what they think the scariest movie of all time is.
That would be wonderful to hear.
Well,
'Cause actually we could
because they're absolutely awful at
Well,
responding.
yeah, so maybe
They're going to do it this month.
Yeah,
they're going to do it. Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and I have on Instagram the real horror fans. They're quite a committed bunch.
Okay.
Yeah, so they
So-
should be.
Scariest movie ever. What's our email address,
The
James?
Movie Lighthouse at gmail.com.
Perfect.
Facebook at Movie Lighthouse. Twitter at Movie Lighthouse.
And Instagram at the Movie Lighthouse.
Great.
We
Get
need a
involved.
YouTube channel.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the beam, our feature.
Mm.
All right, so who wants to go first? Laurie, what's your in the beam?
It's never a good idea to ask me first.
I can go first.
Go on then.
I'll go first.
Right.
I watched The Ritual.
Okay.
Either of you seen The Ritual?
No,
It's
I've done some.
English horror film with Rafe Spall, and it basically is, I think there's 6 mates all in or around their early 40s planning their annual, let's all pretend we're not in our 40s, let's kind of recapture our youth holiday, but in the first 5 minutes one of them gets murdered
In a shop.
in a shop.
I've seen the trailer. It looks great.
So he gets murdered in a shop, and then the other 5 go on the holiday that he was suggesting. So some of them had said, "Yeah, we'll go to Ibiza, we'll go to Vegas, yeah, we'll tear it up." And he goes, "I'd really like to go walking in Norway." And they'll go, no, don't be a bender. And then that's what they say rather than and then he gets murdered, and then 6 months later, they're walking in Norway in memory of him and all this kind of stuff. And then they end up trying to take a shortcut because the weather's terrible and one of them sprains an ankle, take a shortcut through a wood, and then it all starts falling to pieces for them. Nice, it's nice.
Do you know what? It's got some, from how you describe it, it's got some similarities to The Descent, which was a group of girls who someone died in a crash at the start, and then in memory of them, I think they all go on a potholing trip.
Oh yeah.
Disastrous consequences.
The Descent is really good, right?
I like it. So The Ritual. So
The Ritual.
What did you watch
that was on Amazon, I think.
Oh, great. Right. Laurie?
Yeah, so mine's, it was actually one that you shouted out when we did the films of 2018, Annihilation.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So that's on Netflix at the moment, and I was surprised, because I thought this film was actually like a proper cinema release.
Right up to the last minute, everybody thought it was going to be a cinema release.
Right.
And Netflix snaffled it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, which is obviously a great thing. I mean...
what's it about?
It's Natalie Portman, and... basically, the thing opens up where you see like a meteorite land next to a lighthouse, and basically, obviously, something has arrived, which is jolly odd, and someone that Natalie desperately loves who she thinks, presumed, is dead because he's part of the army and he hasn't been seen for 12 months and no one's reported where he is. All his team's lost. Suddenly appears out of nowhere. He comes back to her house while she's redecorating, trying to forget him.
A year after he's gone missing.
I think that's too soon.
To redecorate?
Redecorate to forget somebody.
We don't know, he might have been a tool.
She's got something going on.
So would you two redecorate that quickly?
If I had something going on with the black dude at work, yeah, I would be. I need to realise I've got to move on and get it on with the black dude.
I'm just aware that you were the house if you're listening to this.
Yeah. So that's when I'm painting, Deborah. Anyway, so he turns up and he's not right. There's something desperately wrong. So whilst they're going into a hospital, they suddenly get stopped by these secret police, and she's whisked away. He's whisked away to this sort of secret area, and she then discovers this meteorite that landed like 2 years ago. There's like a field.
Are you telling us the whole story?
There's a field that's slowly growing and growing and growing, and whoever's gone in to explore into that field, that sort of force field, whatever it is, has never returned. And for whatever reason or another, she becomes part of this small team of women that go into that field, and we find out what this kind of entity is, and the nature of this entity is. And this is why it was so good for me, and this is why it's definitely in my beam. Have we played the theme tune? I love that theme tune.
We will have done, yeah.
That's so, it's so good. Yeah, go on. Oh, it's so good! Isn't it? Anyway, so it's just basically the nature of this alien is wonderfully realised. This is proper good sci-fi, really kind of, it's up there, borderline with the concepts of, Arthur C. Clarke, 2001. It's wonderful. The nature of the alien is essentially our nature. It's a sort of a morphing and a perversion.
All right, I think you're giving too much away now.
It's really good sci-fi. She's great in it as well. It's a really conking film. And I just need to say, actually, it was Alex Garland that directed it. And I should have had my eyes on this guy ages ago, because he's actually behind things that that's really tapped into me and surprised me. There was a film quite a few years ago called Never Let Me Go.
Love Never Let Me Go.
Oh my goodness! Now he didn't direct it or anything, but he was the screenplay writer of it, and that's kind of a sci-fi, but in a completely different sort of
vein. You can't have to, so we're going to move on. Okay, so mine isn't a film; it's a series, and it was the final season of Bates Motel came onto Netflix, so I watched the final season.
And is it good?
Oh yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, I've loved the whole thing really.
I haven't seen any of it.
The first season gets off to a bit of a shaky start, I think. And you're just trying to work out where they're fitting it into the world, because they create a kind of 50s environment in a modern world.
Right.
So she wears 50s style, she listens to 50s music, the house is all decked out like the 50s, and she's got a 50s car, but then 50s, 60s, and then but then they use mobile phones and stuff like that. So it's kind of set in a modern world, and it doesn't. It's allowed to have its own flexibility and freedom from the film. So it's obviously the first 4 seasons really are a build up before the film, and then the final season kind of looks at the film, but you know it does its own thing really, and it's great. I mean, Vera from Mega, who plays her mother, is just superb. Yeah, and he's pretty good as well, Freddie Harmel. So.
And she's supposed to be she is Norman's mother.
Yeah.
So presumably the first 4 seasons are kind of.
So
I do remember I saw a couple of episodes where she's quite strict.
Yeah, so it starts with her buying the motel. So her Norman's dad dies like right at the start of the first episode. So with insurance money, they buy this motel, and so they move in, and then it's all about establishing that. And then it's basically Norman Bates' slow deterioration into insanity.
Yeah.
And obviously, you're waiting all the time. Is that when's she gonna die? When's she gonna die?
Poor Norman.
Yeah.
Every time I watch Psycho, I was like, oh, poor Norman. Psycho 2 is supposed to be really great.
I really like Psycho 2.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah, it's quite good. Yeah. Anyway, right. Okay, we'll take another break, and then we're going to get back with our Laurie Golden Ticket.
And now, a message from our sponsors.
You know what it's like, James.
What's that, mate?
You've got home on a Friday following a long week at work, you've just cracked open your preferred hop-based drink, and you're settling down with Columbo to watch Hannah Montana when your movement detector goes off.
Oh, it's always the same.
You can't see them, but the detector says they're inside the perimeter, and you're sure you're reading it right.
Is it xenomorphs?
That's right, mate. It is xenomorphs.
Bastards. Are they in the attic?
That's exactly where they are, mate. But what are you going to do about it?
Cuddle up to Columbo, wait to be impregnated by face owners?
Pah! That's loser talk, James. What you do is make like a colonial marine and reach for your handy M41A pulse rifle, available in both original best brown and olive drab, and loose 900 rounds a minute into those acid-blooded alien mothers. Assuming the telly survives the ensuing acid bath, you and Columbo can finally enjoy your evening.
Oh, phew, that's a relief.
I know. That's right, kids. You too can own an Armoured Battlefield Systems M41A pulse rifle for the measly sum of £869,000, payable in 3 equal instalments. No longer will you have to put up with aliens in the attic. Get yours today. Safety warning, pulse rifles are not to be discharged in, at, or around nuclear reactors. Harsh language is an acceptable alternative.
Alright, so we're back, and it was Laurie's Golden Ticket.
Yeah!
My God, so before we start, let me give you a little bit of information about Laurie. Okay. In the news, he passed his driving test 18 months ago, but still hasn't actually driven anywhere. Yeah, very disappointed. Everyone's very disappointed about that, I think.
Driving is an abhorrent thing.
He broke his collarbone climbing up a drain pipe, only for the drain pipe to come off the wall mid-climb.
Yeah, that was an interesting moment because I was right where I wanted to be. Basically, it was my sweetheart's window.
Yeah.
And then, literally, like you see in the movies, the one bolt, one screw went, I went, fuck. And then the other screw went, tits! And then, down.
Alright, so other pop cultural references, he plays in a band.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, the Atomic Interstellar Pig, AIP. Check them out on YouTube. It will
Yeah.
fry your mind.
On TV, some of his top shows are Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, and Twin Peaks.
Right, Twin Peaks I completely agree with. Walking Dead is a guilty pleasure. And what was the... Oh, I know Game of Thrones is good fun. I share that
This
with
is
my
all
lover.
correct information.
That is correct information.
Music, Laurie's first album was Achtung Baby by U2. It's like This Is Your Life.
Yeah, brilliant.
I'm not proud of that.
And
but-
here's Bono.
Shut up.
And his top films are The Empire Strikes Back, Blade Runner, and The Exorcist.
Look at that. I think we all feel like we know you a bit better.
It's kind of there. Yeah, okay.
Alright, so we're going to start with Phantom of the Paradise. So let's play a clip.
20th Century Fox presents Phantom of the Paradise, a gothic horror story.
What was that?
Our love,
A beautiful love story.
whole love, baby.
like a circus.
A cinematic odyssey through the rock universe. From Greece to glitter and beyond. The story of a sound, the man who created it, the girl who sang it, the monster who stole it, and the phantom who haunts the paradise, the ultimate rock palace.
Okay.
Oh, it's so good! It's so good. It's so good. This film, I was completely unaware of this film.
Were you?
I were.
But it-
I was. I was. Until probably just a couple of years ago, there was a Daft Punk documentary going on, and they were talked about the influence of this film, Phantom of the Paradise. They played a couple of clips of it. I thought it looked amazing. It looked really, really great. You get obviously Winslow in his full garb. You've got the little sort of dwarfy dude,
Swan.
William Swan, and I recognised that little guy.
Yeah, he's the little robot out of Buck Rogers, isn't he?
No, no.
Oh, I mean, he looks exactly like a robot out of Buck Rogers.
Okay, so it was released in 1974, directed by Brian De Palma.
Yes.
The screenplay was by Brian De Palma and Louisa Rose, who was credited. And it made $1.3 million at the US box office. And it starred Paul Williams, William Finley, and Jessica Harper, who you may have recognised from Phantasm.
Yes.
And she also appeared in the sequel to the Rocky Horror Show, Shock Treatment, as playing Janet. So give us a bit of a synopsis, Laurie, before we get into this film.
So actually, kind of what the film is. So we've got it's a satire of the man in the music business, really. So you've got this kind of guy called Swan, who kind of owns everything in the charts. He's got his band, the Juicy Fruits.
He's like a musical Svengali, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, and he's wicked. Anyway, and it's the satire of obviously the music industry. And then you've got this wonderful artist, Winslow. Is that right? Am I saying it right?
Winslow Leach.
Winslow Leach,
Yeah.
yeah. And he's written his cantata, which always makes me laugh. Cantata, that's it. Whenever I hear him say it, it's just like, what a dick. But I love it. It makes me giggle. His cantata. And he kind of writes that, and then Swan, for whatever reason, hears it in auditions, like, that's my new thing. Because Swan runs the Paradise, which is kind of like the hot spot to go, the really cool place to be. And he needs a new sound for the Juicy Fruits, and he hears Winslow's cantata and basically goes about to steal it. And Winslow's pretty pissed with that, so tries to get it back, but in that attempt to get it back, gets majorly fucked up.
And becomes a phantom
via
of
a
the Paradise.
record pressing machine, crushes his head.
All right, well, we'll get into that in a minute. So let's have a few first thoughts. Wyndham.
Yeah,
Come on,
so
what did you think of my pick?
I have to say, considering you had the choice of any film, it was a bit of a surprise. So my first thought was, this is significantly better than the trailer leads you to believe it's going to be. I think it's I was surprised. You kind of feel, wow, they actually had some budget for this.
Yeah.
They didn't spend that budget on actors who could sing or singers who could act, but it was all right.
It was all right.
There are just some amazing bits in it. Definitely.
All right. Well, my first thoughts. I didn't know at all what to expect. I didn't, I had no idea what was going on to begin with. But as soon as Juicy Fruits came on and did that song at the start, it was like, this is brilliant.
It had a real Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
Rocky Horror and Little Shop of Horror kind of.
It's quite funny because it came out in 1974 and the Rocky Horror Show film came out in 75, but there are so many similarities to the Rocky Horror Show. But yeah, I loved it, and I rewatched it recently again, and I liked it even more.
I think that there's right at the very beginning. So you have the Juicy Fruits playing, and your intro into the film is via this song in the Paradise, and then up in the control booth you've got this fat guy called Philbin or Philkin or something like that,
one of the heavies,
who you find out is kind of Swan's right hand, and they're talking about another artist who has just won a legal case against them, basically, because they have they tie all of their artists to a contract for life. And basically, you kind of skipped over it, but the cantata is Faust, and the film is Faust. It's the story of Faust. It's selling your soul for success. But the thing that cracked me up was Philkin is there saying, you know, I can't believe she won the court case. I taught her how to sing. I taught her how to dress. And he sat there in this weird faux Navajo swined coat. And you just think, what the fuck? Brilliant. From that point, I thought, okay, this has set the tone. I think I know what I'm expecting now. Brilliant.
Laurie.
My first experience, I was seeing this Daft Punk documentary. Uncle Toots, bless his heart, he got it for me for my birthday. I was over the moon. And then had the opportunity to go and visit Uncle Adam and Auntie Ruth. And Uncle Adam, I love him to pieces. He's a very funny guy.
Yeah.
And he's got this huge, ginormous projection screen. Like his
cinema room.
Living room is gargantuous.
Yeah.
So anyway, everyone got drunk, everyone went to bed early, which is always great when you go to visit them, because you could stay up, and then I utilised this massive great big screen and popped in Phantom of the Paradise. And then the titles come up, and you've got this wonderful yellow, glittery kind of the Phantom of the Paradise, and the Juicy Fruits are singing behind it, and I was like, shit, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I love this! And it just got better and better and better and better. And Swan is just kind of like one of those people that I just find mesmerising. You know the woman that turns up in Poltergeist, the little woman. She's so mesmerising just to look at. And this Swan guy, who turns out he
wrote the music.
He wrote the music, and he was a very big in the music industry, a big writer, hit writer, Paul Williams. Of the time, but he was turning up as like cameos on the Waltons, I think, and I think I remember him in the Waltons, something like that. But he's kind of this little familiar, obscure face. So yeah, it was wonderful seeing him in there.
He reminded me a little bit of Jeanette Cranky.
Yeah, and
again that mesmerism.
And do you think it's the height thing? Because he's very
short.
Very
short. To be.
And all the people we've mentioned are very short.
Yeah.
The problem, it was a little bit disturbing at times because he's got hair exactly like my mum.
Just another one.
So I was watching it thinking, oh my god,
yeah,
he's the devil in this story of Faust, and he's got hair like my mum.
Yeah, that's
well, I thought he was a brilliant character. Let's talk about some of the other ones, some of the main ones. So Winslow,
brilliant, funny.
So you had the kind of two sides of Winslow, the annoying singer at the start.
You had Winslow Leach, and then you had the Phantom.
And the transformation into the Phantom was brilliant. I thought,
but
spectacular.
The thing for me so there are some very contrived bits to this film, because there's that kind of, how do we get Winslow Leach, who is initially a really naive, really honest, really open musical genius, who's written this massive cantata, how do we get him from there to a murdering phantom? Mm-hmm. What we're going to do is we're going to frame him, send him to prison, where there's a program that has all their teeth taken out, so that when he's the Phantom, he can have metal teeth. And then his head gets stuck in a record.
But they did a lot of that through. They kind of used like 1920s film music, didn't they? And it was all kind of like
oh yeah,
and it just kind of went through that really quickly.
Is that, I'm right in thinking though, his teeth being pulled out in prison? That's Swan giving him more hell in hell, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think Swan owned the prison, did he?
Yeah, he funded the prison, and they were volunteers in a Swan-funded program to take your teeth out. I didn't quite understand why they were taking the teeth out,
but it looked good.
Yeah, it is like a level of hell. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a silver tooth.
Have you?
Yeah.
Is that
Just
for emergencies?
30 odd to go, and you'll be on your way.
Basically, for the listeners, if you ever buy pitted olives, don't take that as red.
So
there was one little son of a bitch that rendered me a silver tooth. Anyway.
Did we like Winslow, the character?
No.
No, I did. I absolutely love him, and there's not that many things I don't love about this film, though, to be honest. But I love him.
I quite liked him. I mean, I much preferred him as a Phantom.
He was pretty creepy, but he was creepy in that he doesn't know he's being. So when he gate crashes the Swan's mansion when he's auditioning, singers to sing Leach's cantata, and he's cut Leach out of it. He meets Felix.
Yeah.
But he's just over her shoulder the whole time, like really close, and the kind of speed with which he agrees
But
to.
I thought because he had really thick glasses.
He
didn't
did, yeah,
And then when he
proper
became the
thick.
Phantom, he didn't have any glasses at all. So how could he see?
Ooh,
But then I thought maybe when he got his head squashed.
it corrected his
Yes,
lenses.
That's the retina alignment right there.
All right. All right. So what do we think about Phoenix?
She's all.
Do you know what? I didn't like it to begin with, and then when I watched it a second time, and I thought she does sound like Karen Carpenter a bit.
Yeah,
She
does.
grew on me.
She's
a lot
not very
more.
emotive though,
No. Yeah.
and that for me was. I actually made a note. Botox before Botox.
Right.
Because she
yeah.
just her face didn't emote at all, but her dancing was very good. Proper
I did like her
60s
yeah.
hippie dancing.
Yeah, I did like her
Yeah,
dancing.
that was nice.
Because I went over and watch a film or whatever, I'm really with the story, I'm really with the characters
Yeah.
and stuff. I went off her when she got jazzy with Swan.
Yeah,
That really
Yeah.
annoyed me.
Yeah.
Why?
Well-
why?
because
Well, she got
'Cause he's
seduced
the
by the
man.
power.
and she
All
and
wanted
she
to do
said,
was sing.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I will do anything.
Yeah.
And she even offered it. To be fair,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
said,
Right.
"I just want your voice." Is that all you want? No.
Damn that short dwarfen devil.
And I suppose we should definitely talk about the character of Beef.
Definitely, I much preferred Beef to Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean that was pretty.
He was brilliant.
Yeah,
And it was
He is great.
not that I hadn't thought this beforehand, but when he came on, I just got super high camp,
yeah.
Super
like
high camp.
proper super high camp.
But he's massive, isn't he? You could tear your head off and
You can see
shit down
why
your neck.
he's called Beef.
Beef. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that actually, him being in the film led to one of my favourite moments, where so the whole point of Winslow and then the Phantom's ire is the fact that he only wants Phoenix to sing his cantata because he's lost his voice. Originally, he was the only one who could sing it. He loses his voice. Phoenix is the only one who can sing it, and they've cast Beef to sing it. So he comes down from the gods while Beef is in the shower.
Yes.
And then you see his outline, you go, oh my god, this is like
It's like
Psycho.
Psycho, yeah.
And you see he's got a big knife and he slowly draws it down the curtain. Beef turns around, and the next thing, this toilet plunger lands on his face. And Phantom's just there going, nobody sings my work.
God,
Phoenix."
I love this film.
Absolutely brilliant.
It was brilliant.
Such a good film.
All right. So what about where it was filmed?
Where it was filmed.
Camera, direction.
Camera direction. Again, it's got that uniqueness about it. There is a quality to the film, its actual self, the actual celluloid, as it were, the quality of that reminds me a little bit of Columbo, an episode of Columbo that's got the same
What is
sort
that
of...
style? Is that era?
It's of that time, isn't it? So obviously they must be using the same chemicals, the same celluloid.
They
which
did.
I really
They did
like.
one bit where they split when they were about to blow up the juicy fruit.
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah.
And they split the screen, and it was filmed at exactly the same time. So it was
Yes.
great to see like, them going off the stage and then going backstage and
Yeah,
all that
yeah,
kind of stuff.
yeah.
So
I
I
love
loved
it.
all of that.
Brian De Palma's done that. I think he's done that a few times in his films, and people get a little bit annoyed with them because it's not probably the greatest,
It's
more
because-
elegant.
Yeah, because the
tool.
right hand side of the screen is the song that
Yeah.
you can really hear, and it is almost as if you were actually overhearing the conversation on the left hand side of the screen,
Yeah.
which is Phil Bin trying to persuade one of the juicy fruits to get on the back of the car. The
It's got
Phantom's put a bomb in the
You see a
boot.
bomb on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get the perspectives, and I love that.
And I loved, and also when things were frantic with the Phantom, it was all handheld stuff, so lots of running after,
Yeah.
behind him and all that. And there was a little shot as well where, that was it. It was when Beef was coming down as the monster,
Yeah.
and you just saw the Phantom go up
Yeah.
straight past the camera, which is great. But no, I really liked it. I don't know really what else to say about it.
I suppose it's worth saying, out of De Palma's films, I think this is the most interesting, the most unique, the best one. I think. Let me just have a quick look. I think, De Palma's, he's also done Carlito's Way. He did Snake Eyes, which I really like. So
Okay.
a film worth watching with Nicolas Cage. And you got similar sort of split screen stuff in that one. Very Hitchcockian, actually, Snake Eyes. So definitely check that out
Okay.
if you're ever bored. But yeah, the Phantom Menace of the Paradise is such a great film. Really, really, really worth a watch. And obviously tied in, if you do like Rocky Horror,
Oh yeah, if you like Rocky Horror, you're gonna love this. Really,
You're gonna love it, and
Yeah.
it's a bit of a shame, really, that it is that
It did
obscure.
very well. Yeah, I think I watched a bit of a documentary and it said it did well in two cities across the world or something.
Whippany or
It's
something like
something
that.
crazy. Yeah.
They went nuts for it.
I do think there's some of the dialogue is dialogue. It's not in dialogue. Some of what the actors say is brilliant. So when
Go on, give us a few. I've got some
well
quotes.
when so the Phantom is back and Swan realizes that he needs him and he's gonna. So they do a deal. He
Yeah.
starts rewriting, but because he can't sing, Swan is sat there at the mixing desk and he's kind of twiddling dials and moving knobs and doing this, that, and the other to try to get the Phantom's voice normal. And there's a bit where he twists one and he just goes filters, and then
Yeah.
he moves the slide and goes Dolby's. And that's it.
And when he settles on the voice and he goes perfect,
Yeah.
that's Swan's voice.
Yes.
Yeah, so I thought that was a nice touch. Yeah, now that's perfect. It's my voice.
Sweet.
Yeah, well, the quote I've got is obviously the bit from the Juicy Fruits at the start. Well, you did it, Eddie, and though it's hard to applaud suicide, you gave all you could give so your sister could live. Well, America's choked up inside.
Yeah. And America was choked up inside, and that you get that from this film as well, because of New York at this time, it was not really a nice place to be at all. Everyone, you know,
Really high
we've
murder
got
rate.
off the dope, we've got off the LSD, and now we're on coke. Everyone's like, that's pretty much their dialogue. Everyone's
Beef
saying that.
certainly was, wasn't he?
Yeah, yeah. So you've got that kind of, I suppose, that kind of harshness, sort of depression of New York in this film, which is really, really cool. I remember the other films that De Palma have done. He did Carrie.
Oh, right, okay.
And The Fury as well. That's again a little bit of a more of an obscure film, but The Fury is a really good film to check out. Not really, really good, but it's a good one.
One of the bits I didn't quite get. Well, no, one of the many bits I didn't quite get, but I didn't quite get it. So Phoenix has to sing it. The Phantom kills Beef with a neon bolt of lightning,
Yeah.
which is nice. The crowd go crazy. Phoenix comes on, sings a song. Everybody goes even crazier. She signs a contract with Swan. Goes back to his house, which happens to have a glass dome on the top, which the Phantom's peering down as Swan and Phoenix get a bit jiggy. And then he can't cope. Everything has been about Phoenix and his love of Phoenix. So he stabs himself. Swan ends up on the roof, takes the knife out, goes, you can't. And that's when it's apparent that he's the devil before that. But that's the bit where you go, oh, okay, you're bound to me. You don't die as long as I'm alive. If you were the Phantom at that point, and you kind of had just tried to kill yourself, and the person who's stopping you being dead is stood there, would you not just stab them, as opposed to running off? Because you're not afraid of death, are you? Other than the fact the
It's a very
film
good point.
required
It's
him to go
distraught.
back and find the video of Swan's contract with.
Well, I wasn't sure about that either. I mean, why did that make him... I don't understand why suddenly... I know that when he's filmed, you saw his true face, which is why he wouldn't let anybody film him.
Yeah.
But I thought there was it fell down a little bit on those bits, but it all looked good. Anyway, so memorable scenes before we score it.
All of them.
All of them.
A couple of the scenes with Beef, the plunger in the face was quite good. And his I'm being electrocuted by a neon bolt of lightning was quite good.
Yeah.
Enjoyed that.
Yeah, for me, it's like you said, when the Phantom of the Paradise logo came up at the Juicy Fruit started.
Yeah.
And I had the same feeling that I had when I first watched the Rocky Horror Show, thinking, oh my god,
Yeah.
how have I never seen this before?
Yeah. It is really one of those films.
So that was great. And
Honestly, make a bit of effort to go out there. There's a really, really great version, I think. I can't remember if it's Arrow. Arrow's got a really great print of it. Blu-ray or DVD even. Definitely, honestly, it's so good. And like I say, if you're into those kind of sort of off-the-wall kind of sort of musical things or...
All right,
yeah,
well, let's
great.
score it, shall we?
Do that. And we are following his rule.
All right then, so let's whiz through these. So performances, I gave it a 7.
I was a bit harsher. I gave it 5.
Okay, I understand that. Laurie?
7.
All right, effects.
I'm gonna-
Go on.
I'm going to go 9 because of its originality.
Okay.
Oh wow, I've gone a bit harsh. I've gone 5 on that as well.
I've done 8. I thought the effects, I quite like the effects. Plot,
8.
7.
4.
Rewatch factor,
10.
9.
4.
Direction, 8.
5.
8.
Cinematography, 8.
7.
7.
Sound and music,
7.
9. Big fat 9.
It's good. It's good. The music is
The
good.
music is good, and I've got the soundtrack.
It
I've
does
got the
carry
CD.
it. Yeah, yeah, it is good.
Well, I play in a band and I say it's 9.
Yeah. Originality,
6.
I gave it 6.
Come on. Give me a little bit.
Well, because it is based on the Phantom of the Opera.
And Faust.
Yeah.
But the originality of weaving like Faust
Well, that's what Lisa loves
within
about me.
Faust and
Also, it was so similar in many ways to the Rocky Horror Show.
yeah, but this came before.
No, it didn't, because the Rocky Horror Show stage show was going on for ages before it was made into a film.
Now that is a very good
No.
point. It's losing a point for that. 7.
Well, what were you moaning about? I only gave it a 6. Right, enjoyability.
7.
8.
7.
8.
Life changing, I gave it a 9.
Yeah, you did. We bought this for your Christmas, didn't we?
Yeah.
We've
What did you
done
go for?
well with
Yeah,
you,
well
Mum.
done. You proposed it.
Life changer. I'm going to say 7.
I'm gonna stick with the theme on this and go none.
None.
It's not life changing for me.
Okay, so what have you got?
Total 55.
Right.
You're going to have to wait a little bit for me.
We are the podcast that can't add up. I thought there was quite nice use of block colour. So lots of the rooms were a single colour. The room that Hounds like the Phantom was working in was bright red. His hell.
Yes.
Quite nice little, just a little bit. So his Swan Security was always Hell's Angels.
Yeah, I thought the style of the whole
yeah,
thing was
it's
very
alright.
good.
Yeah, it's
You
alright.
know, it did pick up.
79.
That's exactly the same as me.
Whoa! Look at that. I should have just looked at yours.
Okay, so I'm going to work out the scores.
I think it's
Talk
going to be a biggie. I
themselves.
think it's going to be a contender, this one.
Oh yeah.
Mouth of Madness deserve. We need. Yeah, you're right. We need to rewatch it, rescore it via
we can't
your
rescore it.
Excel
Done.
formula. Okay.
71. James, sorry,
Oh, we've done
stealing
it.
your thunder.
I'm
Yeah,
well done.
71, which undeniably
Right.
takes it to the top of the tree.
Let's have a look.
Is that Trumping Crash?
Yeah.
71. It is. It's gone to the top. Yay! Oh, that's good news. It's better than Crash.
It's a lighter watch than Crash.
It's a
It
lighter
is.
watch than Crash.
If I had those two
Actually,
to
no,
choose
Crash
from,
is very funny.
if I had those two to choose from, I would go for the Phantom every single time.
Agreed.
Yeah, okay, well, I'm glad we've got that off the top. Great, alright then, so we're going to come back with the next choice after this break.
And now a message from our sponsors.
You know what it's like, James.
What's that, mate?
You got home on a Friday following a long week at work. You fired up the soothing sounds of Katy Perry's greatest hits, reimagined through the hauntingly beautiful Peruvian panpipe, and you've lit your lavender candle. You and Columbo are getting bleary-eyed, desperate for the land of Nod, but you're nervous.
I am, mate. And with good reason, I'd imagine.
A very good reason, mate. You're scared to go to sleep.
Is that on account of all of my friends being horribly murdered in their sleep?
That's exactly it, mate. As a result of the crimes of your parents, you and your remaining buddies have to find any way possible to stay awake, so you can avoid the sharpened knives of the son of 1,000 maniacs.
Parents, eh? If it's not one thing, it's another.
I hear you, brother.
So what can I do?
You can get yourself some Kruger strength coffee.
Oh, cool. Is that like normal coffee?
Is it heck, you crazy piece of Kruger fodder?
Alright, so what's the deal?
Well, you know that coffee where the beans have passed through some kind of cat? Kruger strength coffee's like that, only the beans have passed through the Mother Superior of a remote convent in the island of Santa Maria Salina, off the coast of Italy. That's right, kids. You too can avoid the clenches and slashes of the Dream Demon by drinking Kruger strength coffee, guaranteed to have passed through a nun. For the measly sum of £869,000 payable in 3 equal instalments, you too can never sleep again. Get yours today. Safety warning, any coffee beans that have passed through a human being, however holy, should be washed thoroughly before roasting.
Laurie's other choice was House, released in 1977, Japanese film. Director Nobuhiko,
Obayashi.
thank you. Screenplay by Chiho Katsura. It was a box office hit.
Yeah,
it
it
was.
was.
But it was an unknown amount.
Box office hit in Japan.
And those were actors Kimiko Ikigami, Miki Jinmo, and Kumiko Oba. So,
For any Japanese to English translations, please just get in touch with James at the Movie Lighthouse.
and we can't have a clip because there's no
What?
Why is there no 100% play click now?
Yeah, but it's in Japanese.
It's in Japanese.
Play it.
House.
スイート、私あなたを救えなかった。
I see in your eyes where tomorrow is hiding in my heart. There's a bell ringing loud at the touch of your lips. Down the rainbow, I'm sliding. Little arrows keep falling as thick as a cloud.
眩しくて怖いのよ、日の光が。
Done.
Yeah!
Alright. My God, give us a bit of a synopsis.
Okay. So, Angel, right? Our main protagonist. Bless her. So she's at home. She's all a bit wistful, missing her dad, who's off, like I think, making a film score or something in Italy.
Yeah.
He comes back home. Wait a minute.
And she's a schoolgirl.
She's a schoolgirl. Yeah. Wait a minute. Who's that with dad? It's some beautiful. Wait a minute. That's my new mum. So anyway, she's not so happy with that. So disgruntledly, she calls, or angrily, she calls her auntie. Can I come and stay with you for a bit? I'm really upset. Can I bring my friends? And auntie's like, yeah, let's go. And she goes to her auntie's house with her cool buddies who all have, they set up this wonderfully, and I love this in films, I love this in stories, when you've got the character just set up, they've got a skill, they've got a talent, they've got a thing.
Did they have that? That didn't really come across for me. I wasn't sure. What, Prof with the glasses?
Yeah.
She was a brainiac.
Yeah.
Prof, kung fu.
Back, short
Mac.
for stomach, because she's fat.
Short for
Fantasy.
stomach.
She was the one that they didn't believe.
Yeah.
Oh
Go on.
my God! Right.
So they all go to
all
the
right.
house, auntie's house,
And
and
then-
auntie's house is a little bit strange.
Okay, that'll do. Right. Oh my God! Wyndham, first thought.
Oh my god! So, I think it's Japanese, right?
Yeah.
And there are significant cultural differences in Japan
Yeah.
from the West,
Yeah.
shall we say?
Yeah.
So it opens, and you do kind of go, It actually opens with Angel at school in the run up to summer
That's it. Yeah.
with her 6 mates, and for an unknown reason, her 6 friends are going to go on holiday with one of their teachers called Mr. Togo.
Yeah, he's well good fun.
But they're quite. Yeah.
But they're like proper
It's all-
archetypal Japanese fetishistic schoolgirls going on holiday with one
It's
of their.
your
It's
sordid
super
mind.
weird.
Mr. Togo's
Now,
got
hold
something
on a
really decent
minute.
set up. They're going to dig for fossils.
Hold on a minute. I think Wyndham's really hit it on the head here because there were a few bits throughout this film where the male gaze is certainly looking at these schoolgirls. I mean, do you remember the bit about the panties? So there's a scene later on where the girl basically turns into a doll, but all her clothes are left naked,
Yeah.
strewn all over the floor, and one of them picks them up and goes, "Oh look, she's left her panties. Oh wow, they really stink."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made a note of that. Stinky knickers, a bit fetishistic.
Yeah.
Again, we're talking culture. We like in Japan,
Agreed.
you can go and get a little nice little Snickers
Yeah.
bar or Snickers, and then just wipe your
Pair of panties if you like.
Right, let's be clear.
Let's
This
move on.
film is absolutely crackers.
Yeah.
From start to finish. It starts, the first scene starts, and you think, oh, it might be quite a spooky little horror film, and then it goes through every single style and does every single thing imaginable.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't stop.
No.
It does
for 90
not
minutes.
stop.
It's like, what?
It's
so
feast.
random.
It's a feast
It
of
is so random.
inventivity. And apparently, the guy that came up with this film, kind of a lot of it was written by his kid.
I'm
he
not surprised.
He just came up with these ideas.
Oh
He goes,
my God.
Oh yes, it's a bloody good idea, that.
Bit racist. I actually wrote the script is like it's been written by a 9-year-old.
Yeah, and it pretty much was.
And it's difficult because it's in Japanese, and I was reading the translated subtitles, so you're bound to lose some subtlety. Maybe not in this film. It is super brilliant because it's really stylized.
Yeah.
And then you have some scenes where there's this painted background, and they're just in a circle in the middle, and then you have
paintings.
they pull up at a bus stop, and it's kind of like this painted background. The camera zooms out, and it's actually just a painted background in nature, like where the bus stop would be. There's a bit where Mr. Togo eventually can't go on holiday with the girls, which is why they end up going to Angel's auntie's house.
That's it, yeah.
But there's a bit he wakes up in the morning, and he was going to go with them. But he's the most pointless character in this whole film. Just by
It's
the
good,
by.
it's good for the end to turn up and it's like, oh.
Yeah, but to turn up and I don't quite know what to talk about first.
Right, yeah. So, well, let's talk about, because I thought there were two near misses with these characters. So
Yeah.
right, so at the start when they're talking about going on holiday, the teacher, they go, "Oh, teacher, what are you doing? You're getting married," and she's all mysterious.
It's an arranged marriage.
Yeah, and then the next scene, Angel gets to meet her new mum. That should have been that teacher.
Yeah.
That would have made perfect sense. And the same with the sensei. They kept going on about the spirit or the soul of this soldier needs to return to the house. And I was thinking, that's going to be the sensei. He's going to come back.
Mr. Togo.
Yeah. And
Right.
he's going to be like the reincarnation. And they
Yeah.
kind of miss those points. But I don't think they were really thinking it all through.
And for me, I think that's the overriding thing is this is just a bunch of ideas a 9-year-old kid has had.
This
And bolted
film
them together.
essentially is a stream of consciousness.
Completely.
It just goes boom, 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 boom,
Completely.
boom. Weird and wonderful, beautiful colours, left, right, and centre. Wonderful paintings.
Yeah.
Horror, really great horror moments. The head coming out.
But the horror moments for me are a bit Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
yeah, kind of Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
but almost Evil Dead as well. I saw a lot of Evil Dead in it. You know, certainly with the laughing heads and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. But it just went even further than you could possibly think. Like there was a bit like when she got what was Melody, obviously the girl who was
pianist.
playing
The piano.
She was playing it, and then she lost half of her fingers. They got eaten by the piano. She lifted them up,
And she was
goes,
fine.
"Oh, this is weird." And then she puts her hand out, gets her hand chopped off, and suddenly that's a problem.
Freaks
She's
out.
screaming her head off.
Yeah.
It's bonkers.
It
But
is
it's
completely
brilliant.
bonkers.
It's brilliantly
Completely
bonkers.
bonkers.
I love
the fact that they all travel to Auntie's house, and they turn up in the village, and there's a watermelon stall, and Mac, who's an eater,
is an eater.
named after the English word stomach, goes and picks up this massive watermelon, and then there's a fat watermelon salesman behind, and his only job in the whole film is, so that sets him up, and then towards the end of the film, Mr. Togo turns up and says, "Where's the house?" And the guy kind of goes, "Oh, what house? I've got watermelons to sell." And Mr. Togo says, "I don't like watermelons." "Oh, what do you like?" "Bananas." And the watermelon salesman turns into a skeleton and dies.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
But that ultimately turns Mr. Togo into a bunch of bananas.
Did he? I was making notes.
She just right at the end. The new mother walked past his car, and it's just a bunch of bananas in the front seat. So
This film is so good.
But again, I think that the stream of a 9-year-old,
Yeah.
because the whole bit, surely, I thought the watermelon guy was a bit like the harbinger of doom. You know that you know.
Yeah, the
although
gate-
he didn't say don't go to the house, the gatekeeper, but Mac didn't even buy the watermelon.
No.
So.
Well, no, she did eventually.
No, but in a scene we didn't see.
Yeah.
So she was there holding the watermelon. All she had to do was say, "Here's some money," and then take it back. So, but instead, they got back to the
That's
house
a
and she went,
boring-
"I brought the watermelon."
Yeah.
I went back and got it.
That's all you needed.
Yeah.
But there's some wonderful scenes, you know, like the piano is amazing. Kung Fu, when she's like, "Yeah, okay, I'm gonna get him," then immediately a light fitting
Got to-
eats
gets
her
the right
up.
theme tune.
But it doesn't.
Every-
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't eat her legs. But her legs still are full with that intent. So her legs are still
legs don't-
fighting.
Oh, that's right at the end, isn't it? But so they get to the house and Auntie's there in a wheelchair, all decrepit.
No, I really like Auntie.
Yeah, looking quite suspicious.
And into the camera.
Not as
Yeah.
suspicious
All
as
the
the
time.
cat, though.
So I actually made a note.
Yeah, we'll get onto the cat.
Now?
Oh, if you like.
Yeah,
Well,
happy to.
let's talk about Auntie and then
Okay.
talk about the cat a bit. Because I really thought she was sinister, the aunt character, and I mean, obviously the bit where she jumps into the fridge.
Yeah.
And then she crawls like next to the camera and just looks directly
Yeah.
into the camera, and then she starts dancing. It's
Yeah, so the premise is she's old and decrepit, and one by one the girls go missing. The only girl to kind of witness anything to begin with is Fantasy, so none of them believe her. But as each girl goes missing, Auntie regains a certain
energy.
vavoom and energy
Yeah,
and youth.
yeah.
So she's then up and standing, and they kind of go, "Oh, Auntie, wow, I can't believe you're standing." She goes, "Yeah, you know the energy of having all you girls here." Really creepy. But she also ends up dancing with that random skeleton,
Yes.
And why not?
and why not? Absolutely.
Let's talk about the cat.
Yeah.
The cat's cool.
Right, so my favourite bit about the cat is just where having the auntie's still in the wheelchair and she just wheels them off. Someone throws the cat literally into her arms.
Yeah.
This poor cat is just
You can definitely tell that it's not the athletic leap of a cat. It is somebody throwing it all 4 feet facing the same way. Yeah, brilliant. I did make a note. As soon as I saw the cat, I wrote, "Magic cat?" Question mark. In the background, that is Columbo, James's ever-obedient basset hound.
chasing cats.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Snowy the cat just kind of turns up, and there's a million pictures in the house, and
Yeah, and there's a bit where they say that picture of the cat, it looks just like Snowy, doesn't it? Doesn't. But the thing is, there is no time to look back and go, that was just ridiculous, because
Yeah.
and
you're
it
on
just
to the
moves on.
next bit.
Yeah.
And
Which
it's
is
like-
even more
And they
ridiculous.
use every kind of film style.
Yeah.
So you've got like all black and white, and then you've got like it's just so different.
Yeah.
Animation.
There's a bit where it's kind of split movement, so they're moving.
Yeah, like stop motion almost.
Yeah, and I thought my DVD player was playing up because it just did it for
But there's also
about a minute.
there's also a bit. Actually, I like the fact that our review is just a stream of consciousness because you can't structure this any other way. But there's a bit before they get to the house where Mr. Togo he falls down the stairs. Do you remember that? He falls down the stairs and it all goes almost a little bit stop motion as he goes down the stairs.
Yes.
Lands in a cooking pot with his arse in the cooking pot, and then just seems to kind of pootle around a little bit like Chorlton and the Wheelies.
Yeah.
It's just so bizarre.
It's wonderful.
I
It's just
wrote-
an absolute treat.
I wrote down WTF about 27 times in my notes,
Yeah.
just because it's like, what the...
Yeah. So, can you imagine what the brief was given to the guy that kind of wrote this and made this?
None.
There
It
was
just
a brief. Do you know what that is? Can you imagine what that brief might have been?
No, do you know the answer to this?
I know the exact answer.
That's right.
Oh,
They said Jaws was quite a successful film. Could you make a Japanese Jaws, please? And this is Jaws, apparently, according to the Japanese.
God.
It's so good.
what?
Yeah, it's true. I suppose you can kind of get, maybe the piano was a bit Jawsy.
Yeah,
And you
maybe.
know, when it floods with blood,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, you've got that kind of
Yeah.
water aspect, I suppose,
Yeah.
but it's blood.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no kind of narrative. There was a narrative, but there was no sense to the narrative. You know.
A tenuous sense.
You know, they can possibly. And also the shoemaker bit. I don't remember the shoemaker bit. So suddenly it goes into like a Japanese version of the Monkees, just doing this pop song,
Yeah.
and like people like hitting choosing with them for no reason.
That leads into Togo falling down the stairs and getting his arse stuck in a pan.
Yes.
Yeah.
I forgot about.
Oh, people, go and do yourself a favour again. Get this House, Japanese film, House. Get it.
I mean, it is...
It's wonderful.
You won't forget it.
No.
Yeah, I mean, and it is. I have to say, it's thoroughly enjoyable. I watched it first time a couple of years ago, quite drunk, and I loved it. But watching it this time, I really enjoyed it again. It was very enjoyable.
Does anybody remember the bear at the noodle bar?
No.
It was a real bear, right?
It was. Well, no, I doubt it was an actual real bear, but it was depicted as a real bear in a hat eating noodles.
Yes, I do remember the bear.
Do you not?
For no
reason whatsoever. It's a Hofmeister.
Hofmeister.
Yeah, it's a Hofmeister.
Oh.
It's just a
and
bear.
Mel Muller Rice.
But just for no for no reason.
My Lord.
It was amazing.
Well, there we go.
But equally, there was some really. Your point about Mac. She could have just paid the guy for the watermelon, and then you don't have to have any dialogue saying, "Oh no, I went back and paid for a watermelon."
Really, don't try and bring any sense to this.
But there's also the bit when the Kung Fu tries to phone the police.
Yeah.
And the phone handle is one of those old unhitch it and then kind of put one end to your ear and the other you speak into.
Yeah.
And it wraps itself around her neck, and at the point that it's about to start killing her, it cuts to Mr. Togo in traffic. And it's like, what? Surely we want to see... Nope, don't want to see that. We want to see Mr. Togo.
Kung Fu kicks its ass though, doesn't it? That's when Kung Fu kicks its ass.
She does start kicking random bits and pieces. But
so
it was just,
loads of appliances start to come into life, killing them.
It was so brilliant.
Well, I've never seen anything quite like it. I mean, even a bit, I've got the chandelier sequence, so they get into the house.
At the beginning, yeah.
And I can't even remember quite what happens, but a bit falls off the chandelier. Kung Fu kicks it.
Yeah.
It spears a lizard.
Yeah.
And then the cat eats the lizard.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what? This cat's so crazy, it's eating a lizard. It's, what?
Yeah. And it's probably worth saying that it transpires that Auntie's been dead for ages.
Yeah.
And it's like but I couldn't quite get my head around whether the spirit was in Auntie, the house, the cat, the bear at the store.
I don't think anybody
It was just something I don't
because
really know.
they killed the cat and they said, we've done it, we've killed the cat. Well, they didn't kill the cat, they killed the painting.
Yeah.
And then the cat seemed to die. Well, the cat certainly died. But then it just happened anyway. So,
yeah. And then her new mother, Angel. So Angel effectively becomes taken over by the spirit of the dead auntie. It was my understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were all on the
That's kind of looked like that.
And then her new mother-in-law turns up.
Yeah.
Future mother. No, not mother-in-law. Stepmother.
Yeah.
And then she's what? Absorbed into the thing?
Well, they're going to eat her as well.
They're going to eat her as well.
Yeah, because she's not married either yet.
Yeah, so the house eats anybody of marriageable age.
Yeah. So just to point out, so Auntie basically can consume unmarried
of marriageable age. Yeah.
Females.
Yeah, because that's the bit that best
gives her power.
Yeah,
that bit.
Without
does
that,
make
this
sense.
would not have held together at all.
All right. So, what's everybody's memorable moment?
Oh my god, too many.
For me, I suppose it was the it's such a beautiful scene. The head coming out of the well.
Oh, I was going to say that.
You know,
Mac's head.
Mac's head.
Yeah,
coming in.
that was very Evil Dead. That was a Evil Dead.
It's so beautifully done.
Yeah,
it's wonderful.
Yeah, that was good. I also quite liked it when I can't remember which character it was. Might have been Sweetie, could have been Angel, could have been anyone, to be honest. They're sat at the dressing table, the mirror cracks, and then their face cracks, and they catch fire.
I like that.
At random.
Yeah.
I suppose my bit is the auntie jumping into the fridge and
that was quite
falling into the...
Yeah, that was quite good. And actually, no, absolute favourite bit is the bit where Mr. Togo tells the watermelon seller he doesn't like watermelons, he only likes bananas, and the watermelon seller dies.
Yeah, after turning into a
skeleton.
Right, let's rate it then. You got a sheet?
No, I've got my scores already done.
Fresh sheet as well. Thanks, man.
Okay. Here we go. Right, so performances. I gave it 3.
I gave it 3.
7.
You can't give it 7. Those performances were not outstanding. Effects 4.
I gave it 3.
9. The effects. This is a beautiful, beautiful film. It does everything. You get everything.
No,
from it.
but too much.
Yeah. You definitely.
And if we're thinking effects, you know, the effect of people getting eaten by a piano, the effect did not look good.
9.
Plot 8.
2.
10.
There is no plot.
No, but yeah.
That's my
I
kind of
should've
plot.
really thought that. Rewatch factor, I gave it a 10.
10.
I give it 2.
Direction,
3.
7.
6. Cinematography, 4.
4.
8.
Sound and music, 7. I really like the tune, but they
6.
played it too much.
It's a good tune, but yeah, probably did play it a little bit too much. I'm going to say 8.
Okay. Originality,
8.
10.
8.
9.
Enjoyability, 10.
7.
8.
Life-changing, 9.
What is wrong with your lives?
5. Look, it's
No.
obviously your
didn't add
idea
to
of what that
Yeah,
that,
I agree.
that
I agree.
option
And so I
means.
would be really interested. That's what I mean. What are you rating it on the basis of?
Well, it had a big effect on me.
Does it change your perspective to any degree? That's mine. Does that film change my perspective to maybe filmmaking or whatever it may be?
It was very free. I'm sticking by mine.
So that's quite interesting because there are we will I'm sure in time get to certain films that were fundamentally life changing for me,
Yeah.
but that's not really
so
what
maybe
we're
I'm
talking
reading
about.
it
is it?
wrong then.
No, it doesn't matter how we're reading interpreting it. I'm going to stick with 0.
All right. That means I gave it a 71. Are you doing this now? With them? You gonna have this up?
Yeah, I gave it a 41.
Oh, bear with me, callers.
I don't think it's going to top the chart.
I don't think it's going to top the charts unless Laurie smashes it out the park, which he might.
I'm trying to add up.
Numbers
You
are
have to add up
numbers are
as you go
hard.
down.
Yeah, okay. I'm too busy trying to figure out actually what my score would be at that point.
74. 79. No, maybe not.
107.
81.
Whoa. Okay. 64.3 recurring.
64.3 just puts it second, just underneath Crash. But above Razorback.
Yeah, that's good. This
Kind of
this
like-
Excel spreadsheet is good. It
Not
works.
Right. I don't know what business you work in, but this is not an Excel spreadsheet. Right.
Yeah.
Let's pick.
It feels like it's been an emotional time, doesn't it?
Yeah,
roller
yeah, yeah.
coaster.
Can I just say though, back to a comment right at the very beginning,
Yeah.
that Laurie could have picked any films, but there is time pressure, and I do get
Yeah.
that. And actually, these two films, Phantom and House, or Hausu in Japanese, I just think are perfect companions to each other.
Yeah.
I genuinely
absolutely
think
agree.
if you're going to have I want to watch two films that make me think, what the fuck is going on? these are absolutely bob on.
There's
And
definitely more
and-
grounding to Phantom of the Paradise.
And look,
Yeah.
I think I really have to say both films had a huge enjoyment factor.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
You know, they were fun to watch. So definitely
Go out and watch them, people.
They certainly have a place in our Hall of Fame. Right, so let's choose next
Okay,
month's subject.
So
Wyndham.
you're plucking that bad boy, right?
Yeah.
I'm deep in the ball bag of wonder.
Laurie, I don't think we're ever going to let you choose again.
Look at me. Wyndham,
I'm trying to open the bag.
and then look at me.
I've got to tease it open. Come on.
Give it a little tickle, that'll do the trick.
Right, he's got it open. Look at me.
I have 22.
22.
That's 2 ducks, right?
Oh yeah, two little ducks. I was thinking of
22 is Body Snatcher films.
Body Snatcher films. Wow, cool.
Right, so, yeah. So we are going to choose some Body Snatcher films for Wyndham and then get back to you. Right, Wyndham,
Okay.
we are going to pitch you our films.
Wow
you get
me.
to choose 2. It can
Okay.
be any 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not necessarily. I think we
I've
previously
just
said it.
explained exactly what it is.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, go on.
Alright, so I have got Invasion of the Body Snatchers the 1970s one with
Brilliant.
Donald Sutherland.
Yeah.
And I've also got The Puppet Masters, which is also Donald Sutherland from the 90s, which is a little known, amazing body snatching film.
Oh,
Okay.
I love it.
interesting.
So mine are Nightmare on Elm Street 2, which is a possession film. What? What?
Alright. Hardly.
It is a
That's
possession
tenuous,
film.
but go on.
Is that tenuous?
Is possession a category?
Yeah.
It's not. Look, listen.
That's fine.
Yeah.
His body is
All
being
right, go on.
stolen. All right. So Nightmare on Elm Street 2, and then another fantastic film.
I'm sorry, I've got to
Called
take issue. Because
Possession.
his body is not snatched. It's
All
taken
right.
over from time to time.
All right then. Am I allowed to do?
Yeah, if your body is snatched, from then on, that person has your
You are
body.
officially snatched.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to rethink then. So I lose that then.
Yeah,
So I
well,
just lose
And
it.
and that seems like that sits in the other category. Because that's not
But that
that's
one's not there
permanent.
as well, is it?
No.
So I'm gonna have to say possession, which is it's a Sam Neill. Sam Neill's in it, and it's great and it's wonderful. It was at one point probably my favourite film.
And is that's a film, body snatching film?
Oh, damn it! She does. She gets possessed. She gets snatched. Yes, it is.
Let him have it, just don't pick it. Right, which ones are you going to choose?
Well, you make such great arguments, the pair of you. I am going to pick Invasion of the Body Snatchers,
It's great. It's really great.
and whatever the second one you said was,
The
James?
Puppet Masters.
The Puppet Masters.
Oh man, I'm bummed
But
out.
I tell you what, it'll be good because they both star Donald Sutherland.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah.
another reason why I picked those
Yeah,
two.
so it's a Donald Sutherland special.
And
Right.
I've heard of one of them.
Yeah, and maybe people who listen to the
Yeah,
show
they-
may have heard
exactly.
of one of them.
So,
We
Invasion
need a
of
bit
the-
of normality. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1970s version, and the Puppet Masters.
Brilliant.
Not Puppet Master, the
No.
Puppet Masters.
Beautiful.
Great.
I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
Me too. Let's go to Blade Runner Secret Cinema. Come on, Wayne.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, we're going to do that.
Yeah, so you're going to report back about that next time.
We will.
Might do. Yeah, all right.
If it's, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Great. All right then, well, I've been James,
I've been Laurie.
I've been Wyndham.
and we'll see you soon.
Arigato!
Cheers now.
Lighthouse.